Welcome back to Price Action Trading series from Market Secrets. This is episode 41 of the series, and in this episode, we are going to talk about SD range. But before we get into today's session, I'd like to mention about Python based algo trading launched by Market Secrets. So, we have recently launched a Python based algo trading training which will help you to become an passive algo trader. So if you are interested in passive trading through algo, please check out our YouTube series on the same. I'll leave the link to it in the description section of this video. And with that note, let's jump into today's session. SD range. SD range is used to define how low or high the price is to buy or sell. So if you want to buy at a specific point, SD range will help you to define or identify whether you are buying at a low price or a high price. So that is what the use of SD range is. So this is purely supply and demand. So let's understand it better with a simple example of traffic lights. So you can consider the bigger time frame supply and demand zones, that is the ones that we use for our SD range, as traffic lights. Imagine you're driving on three-lane highway at about 100 kilometers per hour, and suddenly these three lanes become one, and then the traffic light also turns to red. You look ahead and you see cars are slowing down, and if you look at the rear red lights, they are all on in almost all the cars, and there's a big concentration of cars about 500 meters ahead. So it's a pure traffic jam. Maybe it's because there is an accident, or maybe it's a rush hour, but the fact is that there is a traffic jam. So what would you do? Do you accelerate so that you can reach your home faster to have your lunch or dinner, or do you slow down and wait for the traffic jam to resolve? You will obviously slow down, or else you will crash your car and you're going to spend quite some time eating tasteless meals at your hospital. So you should ask yourself these questions when you see the traffic light. Will you drive through the crossroad at full speed all the while ignoring the red traffic light? Does having the traffic light in red means that you have to turn 180-degree around to drive back someplace else, or find some other route or find some alternative itinerary? No, it just means that you would better slow down and drive much more carefully. You stop your car, you look left and right, wait for the traffic light to turn green, look left and right again, and resume driving in the same direction of your initial itinerary. You should see bigger time frames of supply and demand SD range time frames as traffic lights, which will tell you when you are no longer allowed to trade in that direction. It's as simple as that. So you have to take the bigger time frame SD range or supply demand range time frame information as traffic lights, and it will help you to make a decision. So always see the bigger time frame imbalances as traffic jams. Don't buy into higher time frame weekly or monthly supply zones. There are a lot of sellers on the monthly supply zone, which is traffic jam. Wait for the traffic jam to resolve, or signs of rejection for confirmation. That is, police diverting the traffic in the opposite direction. So there is a rejection, you need to stop. And if you see a lot of sellers, that is too much traffic jam, you need to wait for the traffic jam to resolve before you make a decision. Now let's take another example, the ST range and the ocean. Markets are always like ocean waves, constantly in motion. You can stick your toe in at any time, but it's always moving. If you are a surfer, you don't have to chase the waves or worry about missing the big wave. The waves will always be there. You have to be careful with your surfboard, as it doesn't always take you where you want to go. Sometimes these waves are against you, and sometimes there are waves moving away from you, and sometimes the water just ebbs and flows forward and backward, but it's actually not going anywhere. So what can happen to us is that we jump in with our boat too near the top of the wave and try to ride it, but go over the top and get wiped out with a big drop to the bottom. And you can compare this to three CPs in a row and too high in the SD range or a bigger time frame is in control. So this is where we'll be having most of our losses if we don't watch how the waves move. So in simple terms, if there are three CPs and if you're going to take an entry after that, you're too high in the SD range and you will lose control and you will have too much of losses. So you need to be very careful. Same goes if there is a higher or bigger time frame is in control of the SD range. So you need to look out for those signs and make your entry at the right place. We need to ride the wave down low from the trough to the top of the crest and get off before the wave starts to break down. That's what you need to remember. So you need to buy low and sell high, and you need to know exactly where to get in and where to get out. We must not forget that sometimes we'll be surfing in a small bay, that is small entry time frame, and the larger waves from the open ocean can flatten us if we come up against them. So if you are riding on an smaller time frame signal, and if there is a move that is based on the larger time frame, you will get wiped out. So you need to remember fractality of price and bigger picture trend here. And we must be careful with those waves too. So there are some crafty big fishes making their own waves, that is fake waves, under the surface of the water, ready to expose any weakness in our surfing technique. So there will be always some big players who will be trying to create the fake waves. So you need to be aware of that too. So keep all this in mind always. Bigger time frame is the big shark that is ready to attack you the moment you take your eyes off it. I hope both these examples, that is traffic light and ocean, would have helped you to understand how the SD range works and what we need to do when we are at the high or low of the SD range. And with that, we have come to end of today's session. If you have any queries, comments, or feedback about this episode, leave it down in the comment section. Also, check out our algo training playlist if you are interested. Hit the like button if you like this video and share it with your friends if you find it useful. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video or conduct a live session. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.